All right, so it's January 3rd, and I'm just starting to get my business figured out for 2019. I'm actually doing some grain spawn right now. So we're just getting grain going for our jars right now. And this is how everyone does it. For small quantities, we just boil it in a pot, soak the grain overnight. Today, though, about 3 weeks ago, one of my pressure cookers caught on fire, and all of the wires and some of the controls they burnt out. So today I'm going to show you guys how to fix the electrical pressure cooker, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what has happened, and hopefully we'll get that working because I'm looking to sterilize some more jars today, and I want to get this cooker up and running. So today is just a good day to make a video. So let's check that out. This is all our 12-pound shiitake blocks that are just starting to colonize that you guys are going to see in the spring. But what I wanted to talk to you guys today about was I'm looking at getting this all rewired. So this actually caught fire, this micro switch here. This is a replacement. And I happen to have an extra one on hand from years ago from I actually got a new part. I had a problem with this pressure switch, and then I didn't end up using the backup micro switch that All American sent. So this is a 41 quart electric All American unit, and this micro switch caught on fire. There was probably some kind of short. So this is where it all started, and then it basically burnt all the wires, and then the unit just completely shut off. I had to take it apart to kind of see what happened. This on and off switch got completely burnt out. I had to pop that out and it just crumbled. So I had to source out a new part for that. You can find this anywhere if you just look on the internet. You don't actually have to go through All American. And I had to source out some of these couplings that I'm going to attach the wires to. We have some loops and some I don't really know what these called. I'm not an electrician, but these are these are connections that we're going to crimp wires together, and then they're just going to connect right into here. So I'm going to be going through that today. One really important thing is that this is all high temperature wire. So this wire is actually called TEW. It's 105 Celsius. 105 Celsius is the temperature this wire can handle. And I tried to source out a bunch of this, and I was only able to get like 30-meter rolls. I couldn't find a little bit. So the solution is I contacted the electrician who's been working on our farm doing all the electrical for us for years, and I just asked him, hey, do you have any wire that I could have? And he actually just hooked me up this for free. And this wire is actually rated for 125 Celsius. So we got two different colors. This is 14 gauge. And, you know, if I want to make a third color, I'm just going to tape up the wire with some blue tape. That way I can kind of tell what's going on here. So I'm going to be disconnecting these lug nuts, and then this will actually move out of the way, and then we can get at everything. I'm going to get it wired up to the best of my ability, and hopefully we get this working so that I can sterilize some jars today. So hopefully you guys learn a little bit about what's going on, and I'll do my best to show you guys exactly what is involved to get this working again today. Okay, so now that we got this off, I'm just going to clean up these wires, get this back on, and then we'll start making the connections once I have all the wires crimped up. First, I want to make sure that this wire wasn't damaged by the fire. Doesn't look like it was, so we're gonna be able to use this again. I just got to get this connection off here. So I'll just go ahead and cut that, and we'll strip that wire. Just like that. So I'm going to want to make another wire just like this to connect. So we'll go ahead and do that. So again, these connections, they're rated for 105 Celsius. So you want to make sure you have everything correct so it doesn't burn or melt. So yeah, I've actually never done this before, but it should be pretty straightforward. Just kind of get this connected and then we'll crimp it. I think I'm going to want that a little bit longer. So this is a good example of having a business. Is you're going to do a lot of stuff that you've never done before, and that just that's what makes it exciting, challenging. It's always good to challenge yourself. A little bit longer. Oh, 14. There we go. So I'm just going to tie those together. And get that in there. You can see it just starting to poke out the end, which is what you want. And then there's crimping crimpers on this tool here. So we're doing 14 gauge insulated. So we're going to do that first one. And it should just be one nice press that I'm just going to do right in the middle. Just like that. There we go. And we have one of those wires down. Alright, so I'm just going to take you through the rest, get this wired up, and hopefully it works. so now I'm just going to get this all wired up. So the negative, the black wire, that's going to get connected to the switch here, just like that. So this controls the power on and off. And then the positive, we're actually going to connect the positive to the heating element just right there with the screw. And then that is going to get put into here. There we go. So this is going to show when power is on and off. And then we're going to connect this. I decided I wasn't going to wrap the blue electric tape on the black wire here because it's probably going to melt. So I don't have 3 colors, so I'm just going to use black again. And that's okay. This is still a negative output. So the wire coloration in this case is still accurate, even though it's not a different color. So that's going to get clipped in to here, just like that. And again, that is going to then connect to the other side of the heating coil. And then this is actually going to get clipped in to the micro switch, which is just right here. Okay, so that goes there. And then the other wire is then going to get connected here. Again, this is a negative wire, and then that is going to get clipped in to the other micro switch right here. So in order for me to do that, I actually got to get this unit back on, so I'm going to quickly go do that, and then we'll turn it on and hopefully everything works. Alright, so now the moment of truth. I have this all wired up, and just to be safe, I took apart another cooker and I just made sure that everything was wired the way it should be. So this should be exactly how it's supposed to work. And I have it plugged in, but I don't have it turned on yet, so I'm just going to turn on and see if we can get some power. Turn this to 10 and see what happens. Success! There's no smoke, which is good, so it works. Okay, so I just got these working. The one thing I didn't anticipate is that I was actually going to have to calibrate this new micro switch again. And I'm not going to get into details on this video how to do that. I'll leave a link up there. I have a past video where I talk about calibrating these pressure cookers, these all-American sterilizer. But the short of it is that this power supply was actually turning off before it was hitting pressure. And what you have to do is dial this to 5, and then there's a little nut under here that you attach a 1/4 inch wrench to. And once you have that attached, you can see that wrench moving. You dial with this attached to the nut, you dial from 5 all the way to 10, and that's going to make it so that the unit doesn't shut off. And now this is going to build up to pressure, and let's say it shuts off again before it hits 20 psi. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'll take the wrench out and I'll set it at a number, and I will slowly start turning it until the power goes back on. Now I'm going to do the reverse, and once this gets to 20 psi, I want to make sure that I can shut this off with the power going off. So I'm going to have to do the same thing, and then once I have the right set point, I actually want to put a little bit of Loctite on this nut here to make sure that the nut doesn't move anymore, and then you have it set. This is a pressure switch, so you want to make sure you have it set at 20 psi. So right now this is just heating up, and then I will do that. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful. I definitely don't really know too much about electrical, and playing around with stuff, tinkering is really just what having a business is all about. So hopefully you guys found this inspiring. I've learned a lot from experts and from videos on YouTube, so I like sharing and showing you guys my journey. That's really what all my videos are about. So Happy New Year's. Hopefully you guys are having a great 2019. I don't really know where the direction of my channel is going this year yet, but this is the first video out. I'll be making some more videos coming up soon, so we'll catch you in the next one. Just an update to this video. I noticed there's actually a leak dripping underneath here, and all the wires were potentially going to get wet, and that's probably what caused the short. And it turns out that this gasket right here has probably just worn out, and a little bit of water is dripping through as this unit pressurizes. So that's how this unit actually malfunctions. So I've shut it off, and I'm going to see if I can find a gasket or a new coil and get this cooker up and running again. But for now, I have just my backup cookers going. Actually, I'm lucky I got 2 of these. Anyways guys, just an update. That's actually what ended up going wrong with this pressure cooker.